Racing info, games and much more, simply by pressing your red button, satellite viewers, as we sit back and belt up for tonight's last episode of A Racing Car is Born.
What is the appeal of cars and motorbikes? Big chunks of metal thundering around, creating noise, smells and danger. And as for the people that drive them, well, don't get me started. Still, they do get you from A to B, I suppose, and some of them do look quite nice, almost sculptural. I've always fancied one of those little kit car racers. But no, I won't be watching an hour of programmes devoted to them.
I'd been up to all night, and I debriefed the
Day is at 10:30 tonight. Now, though, it's time to put your foot down.
Direct Lamborghini Murcielago, plus in a moment of madness, we've hit the fastest Bentley ever against the lightweight Lotus Elise.
And we find out how you can have this much fun in a couple of old car auctions.
Now, we all know that speed comes at a cost. Take your average family, run around to turn it into a fire-breathing hot hatch. Manufacturers will slap in a big engine, lower profile tyres, lower the suspension and a Larry boot spoiler. But all of that bumps up the price. So, can you get the same bang for less bucks? And that's the challenge we've set, because we've a cracker from Honda.
And there's no time to waste. I'm off down the auction. These boys build, maintain and race. Captain Andy Mills heads this bunch of writers and mechanics who are as bold and brash as their articles. With their imagination and enthusiasm, they talk the talk, but do they have the practical expertise to pull it off?
Right.
2-litre Astra. Again, it's easy to get performance parts.
Really
for that car.
tunable, those two cars,
Absolutely.
aren't they? So you can play about them a lot.
Well, we've got a funny suspicion we're going to be bidding with Lotus on the same thing.
Which is?
Which is the Cavalier SRI and maybe the Sierra XR 4x4.
We want to spend up to about...
I need a car.
Are you excited?
Yeah, we definitely want to win. We've got to win, haven't we?
We have got to win. I need a car.
Now remember, they've only got a couple of grand to spend, so the more they spend in here, the less they'll have to spend later. Let's see how they get on.
So please get yourself in the bidding mode.
We didn't have to wait too long for the Mac.
Sensible bid for buying, 100 man is sold. 150 I bid in the door. Bid for buying, 100 man is sold. SRI, insensible bid for buying, 100 man is sold. 150 I bid in the doorway. 200 man bid 50 here. 200 man for the verse. 250 now bid 275 there. 275 rostrum there.
Come on, what are you going to do to it?
Touring car styling, mate. Big aluminium rear wing, cheeky race graphics, slammed on the deck, motorsport wheels. We're going to sort suspension as well. We do a bit.
So the Max Power team bought their car for 400 quid, and with the auction commission, title indemnity and VAT, that brought their total to £440.
Right, the pressure's off the Max Power boys, because they bought their car, but the pressure's really on the Lotus Motorsport boys.
As the car they wanted arrived, would they get as much of a bargain?
V6, 2.9, 4x4, 25, 125, 150. 200 men is back to the original bidder. 225 in going once, 225 in going twice, 250 I bid for the verse, 260 I bid in £10 bids. Are there any further bids at 260?
Subtle bid in there, I like that, the little nod, the little wink. Do you know what you're going to do with it?
We're going to have a better look at the engine, I think. Have a look at the engine, see what we can do with that. Maybe get a bit more power out of it. At least we've got the capacity there. It's V6. We can get some power, and then we'll get some nice wheels and see if we can get a bit of radio in it and the Max Power guys.
So the Lotus boys got their car for a staggering £260, and with the extras, that takes their total to nearly 300 quid.
Both teams have excelled in the first part of our challenge, and that's actually securing some cars. So far, they've only spent just over £700.
About buying a car at auction, log on to 4car.co.uk.
This is the new Bentley Arnage T. It weighs over 2.5 tonnes, can reach a top speed of nearly 170 miles an hour than the new BMW M3. Compared to the old car, there's a new rear spoiler integrated into the boot lid and lower air dams in the front bumper, but otherwise this Arnage T retains all the understated presence of the original car, which is absolutely ridiculous. This car has no right to be understated, not with a 6 3/4 litre twin turbocharged V8 tucked away under the bonnet. Inside you have all the kit you'd expect from a road car that costs £100. Come cheap. but at least you know you're getting what you pay for. It takes 16 full cowhides to upholster the interior, and the steering wheel alone takes 15 hours to assemble. Rather disappointingly though, some of the switchgear has been lifted straight from the BMW parts bin.
And in the back, well, need I say more? There's so much room in here, I'm seriously contemplating moving in.
But there is a price to pay for all that luxury, and that's weight.
Another British legend, Colin Chapman, always built them light. So light, in fact, that in terms of weight, we would need 3.5
more challenging circuit. To find out, we're going to have some fun by pitching Goliath against David in the ultimate battle of brawn against agility. The little Lotus has a puny 120 brake horsepower, but then it only weighs 710 kilos. However, the gargantuan Bentley, which weighs 2.5 tons, has 450 brake horsepower on hand, so it's nearly 4 times more powerful than the Pipsqueak Elise.
We're off, here we go! Now I've got away. Ate my dust, Lotus. We've got a decent gap. The only thing is, we're going to lose that now as we start to brake. Whoa! God, it just gets through there. It has enormous torque from this engine. Some 600 right on the ground, a lot of roll. It's as if his bum was scraping on the floor. Doesn't give you a lot of confidence. He's going to get up the inside of me here. Right, so I'm going to go a little bit deeper. He's gone in a bit up a twisty corner. Abrupt. Oh, and he's up the inside again. It's wet tarmac. It's 2.5 tons. And it's pretty twitchy. Oh dear. Well, that's it. It's all over now. There's no way I'm going to get past here. Now, in fairness to Bentley, we haven't actually done bad, have we? He's only, what, 10 car lengths in front? I think that's quite a good result. It's extremely quick, very comfortable, and dare I say, exclusive. But you can't defy the laws of physics. 2.5 tons just does not go round corners. What more can I say?
After the break, our two teams get down to business, and I get to drive more fun.
Back. Still to come, can I clap that?
I was to tell you that a manufacturer who'd started out making farm machines, but they did, and I certainly have not.
Imagine the reaction if Massey Ferguson or JCB started making supercars. Well, Lamborghini made tractors long before any road car. It doesn't seem to have done them any harm.
But when you make cars that look and perform as good as the image hasn't always been, well, brilliant.
Ferrari, Bentley, Lotus, Maserati, Jaguar and Porsche have all spent time and money building their heritage in motorsport. But Lamborghini seem to have built their reputation from top trump cars, Athena posters and the opening sequences of the Cannonball Run.
But the Italian manufacturer has weathered the storm by making cars that couple the trademark aggressive styling with unfettered speed and power, and their latest offering is no exception to that rule. But Audi took control of the Italian firm in 1998, so the question, is this Murcielago really a Lamborghini?
Well, it certainly looks like a Lambo. This bonnet is pure Countach. And these slats, well, they remind me of a Miura. They don't inspire confidence, but then again, it is 1,600 kilos, and you kind of forget how quick you're going sometimes.
And by quick, I mean record-breaking. In February, it maintained a speed of 180.
Lamborghini and Audi have done a superb job with the new Murcielago. It's a big improvement on the Diavolo in every way. But if I'm honest, I've never really designed a Lamborghini. I've always thought they're a little bit over the top. But if you're a Lambo lover, then this is right up your street.
For more information about the history of Lamborghini, log on to 4car.co.uk.
Now, to see if you can get supercar performance on a budget, we've challenged
an exhaust system, some tyres, some wheels.
Yeah.
Any other things you're going to do to the car?
We'll get some decent stiff springs, so when it's going around the bends, the body won't be rolling around and stuff. It'll be nicely squat on the floor. Nice spoiler on the back for...
Got enough money left in your budget?
Yeah, we've got loads left, and for some beers at the end of it as well.
We're not going to do too much to the engine. We're going to help it breathe a bit better with a new air induction kit and a better exhaust, and then we will look at the handling.
Because I noticed you've got...
Suit the driving style of our driver for this circuit.
Right, the teams have everything they need. They've got 2 days to get the cars ready.
We need the heating system anymore.
Right, now, the Lotus Motorsport philosophy is to get the car as lightweight as possible. So what they plan to do is to start with the original car, which is about 1,200 kilograms, and they want to strip out as much of that as possible. If they get it right, they'll be able to knock at least 200 kilograms off of this, giving them a car of about a metric ton. Now, if you think... Now, the Max Power boys are going for a similar approach by stripping all the way out of the car, but they are concentrating more on the engine. At the moment, their car revs up to about 6,000 RPM. But what they bought is a high lift cam and a power valve. The power valve pumps more fuel into the engine. Now, coupled with the high lift cam, that will increase the horsepower at the top end, and as such, give them a car that will rev up to 7,000 RPM. But more importantly, it will give them some mid-range punch, and that's what they're after.
But to help it along a bit, they're getting rid of a few unnecessary luxuries.
The power steering pump's going to rob us of power, especially in the 0-6 test.
So you're just going to draw that extra horsepower back?
Exactly.
Back over in the Max Power camp, things are starting to go wrong. Their engine's still in bits, and they've now discovered that they've got a broken engine mount.
We're missing basically this end piece with another hole which should be holding the engine in the car. We were very concerned that that wasn't going to do the business on the day and that the engine was going to drop and that would have been game over. But we've got another one coming up tonight for the breakers, so that's game on with that.
They might be confident, but...
Off you go.
Max Power have still got a lot of work to do, but over in Camp Lotus, the job's nearly done.
Simon, excited? I just heard the engine turn over. Is it just about to fire up?
Yeah, we just primed it, filled it up with fresh oil. Danny, try it.
Well, hey, it runs.
Meanwhile, back at Max Power, the engine's now rebuilt, but... And whilst the Lotus team apply the finishing touches, and with only 2 hours to go, finally, they crack it. The teams have lowered the cars and stiffened the ride with new springs and dampers, which should make them handle better around the bends. They've stripped out all but the essentials in a desperate bid to lose weight. And for the final touch, spoilers and stickers have turned them from Retmobiles into they're safe and legal for road use.
Tomorrow, home time.
The cars are now ready to join in battle, and to drive them, Jason will be joined by fellow driver Kelvin Burt. Amanda Stretton will be aiding and abetting in a Honda Civic Type R, which will act as a benchmark for the other two. The cars may look very different now, but let's not forget that 3 days ago they looked like this. Auction formed our pair of scrappers into lean, mean racing machines on a budget of only £2 grand. Well, the boys will be hoping so. Earlier, they toss a coin to determine who will drive which car, and now they're just praying that they pick the right one.
Right then, lads, reveal your cars. On the left, Jason, is Max Power with the Cavalier, and on the right we have Lotus Kelvin with the Sierra. Let's start with this one. Did they get it right in the first place buying the Ford Sierra?
I just don't think it has the same sort of appeal, that of a boy racing mobile. I think the problem is I've never liked them.
Kelvin, how about you?
Yeah, she sits well. It looks.
Kelvin, that's the bottom line.
I'm looking forward to this.
I think Kelvin is going to be proud driving this round.
Well, keep that car in your head as I move you on to Mr. Plato's steed.
My Chariot. It looks mint.
Well, I actually think, I mean, as a desirable car for, you know, for the sort of boy racer thing, this is actually more desirable than the Ford.
Kelvin?
I prefer the more restrained view of mine.
Of your executive Sierra. Jason, you're quite proud of this?
I'm going for big bad boy stuff.
Right, it's time for you three to vote on what car you most desire. So go and stand by the car of your choice, please. 2 against 1, so there you have it. Max Power have just eked out in front in the first test, desirability. Let's see what they do on the track. Right, time for test 2, our straight line acceleration test. All 3 cars are going to make a mad dash down this 1/4 mile. I can't wait to see who's going to come first. In fact, I'm going to get down the other end to get the reactions from the team members.
This test will show how our 2 stripped out racers compare to a modern hot hatch that's at least...
We've got Kelvin in his 4x4 300 quid lump of Sierra, and I'm here in this Cavalier SRI. I'm not sure whether or not we're going to be able to beat Amanda, but I think we could give Kelvin a bit of a run for the money. Let's get ready. Come on! And we're away. Oh no, Kelvin's off, he's got a better start. Oh no, and Amanda's crushed me. Come on! Come on!
Oh, Kelvin's made an absolute blinder.
We've got her, she missed the gear. Now she's got me with the extra power.
Look at them go! Oh no!
And poor old Jason. Oh.
We just haven't got enough puff in the old girl.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Devised a very tricky handling circuit. Both cars are going to do 2 laps and the team that win gets to keep the car. So the pressure is really on.
I know that Kelvin's feeling quite smug having just won the straight line speed test, but I really think that Jason and the Vauxhall are going to have the legs on him here. It's really tight and really narrow, and I just have a feeling that that Vauxhall is going to handle the corners a little bit better. In the Honda, of course, I'm just going to be their benchmark, and I know that those two have got a little bit of a score to settle, so I think I'm going to keep well out of their way.
3, 2, 1. The race is on! Yippee! We're on and we're in the lead. And where's the corner?
Jason's in the lead. Honda's tight on the outside.
And Amanda's gone. Where's Amanda gone? Go on, Jace!
I'll get you through here.
Come on! Come on!
And I'm close to him now. He's blocking the inside.
Oh, we're all over the place. We've got to be really careful here.
Come on, you little beauty.
Are we going to get a whack up the bum? Helen!
Looking for Amanda. She's catching us up.
Oh, I'm never going to keep up with them.
Come on. Back into the hairpin for the second time.
I'm just taking a little hit of the bum there.
Come on, it's the final corner!
Come on,
Keep to the inside again, see if I can go around the outside.
Yeah!
Second, not bad.
Yes! There you go! Right, let's get you all in. What a race! That was so exciting. Oh, Dan, congratulations. Well done.
My heart is beating.
Andy, you look like you're going to cry. See, all that hard work over the weekend has really paid off. You made a superb car there. It was a really tight race, but congratulations. You won a car. Take one old wreck and two. Fair to say, both of our teams have done a remarkable job. Commiserations to our losers, the Lotus Motorsport boys. Win the car. Max Power. Well done.
That's all for this show, but join us next week for a Driven special, when we ask you to nominate the worst driver